All right, hey, Science 6. This is going to be a pretty short video, okay? But there's some concepts that are going to be a little tougher to wrap your mind around, so you're going to need to just focus a little bit. And you may need to pause and think and record and write some, or replay and write some stuff down, okay? So we're only going to be talking about two main things today because the next topic is a little different, okay? It goes a little in a little different direction. So today we're going to be talking about pedigrees and sex-linked traits, okay? And by sex-linked traits, we are talking about male-female linked traits, okay? Oh, so the first word today is spoon, okay? First word today is spoon. So when we talk about pedigrees, specifically, a pedigree is the tracing of traits through like generations or family tree, okay? So if you do a family tree, you would just do names, right? Up here it might say Bobby and Mary, and they had their kids Sam and, Sam and Sarah. And then Sarah married Ricky, and Ricky and Sarah had a kid, boom, 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 okay? So it does that. But with the pedigree, okay, they do this with animals all the time. They might do like a dog's pedigree and say, oh, it's a purebred. It has all these specific traits. It has no bad traits. So you can track how far back they have good traits. So with pedigrees, you can do it for traits within humans too, okay? So here is the ability to roll one's tongue. Okay, so there's some people who can't do that. Maybe you can try right now. Can you make your tongue not just flat, but curl it? Okay. And so what we have here is that there's a guide down here. A circle is a female. If it is not colored in, then that means they could not roll their tongue. If it is colored in, it's a female that could roll their tongue. Squares are male. Same thing here. If it's colored in, it can roll their tongue. If not, they cannot. So we have a female that married a male, and the male could roll his tongue and the female could not. When they had a kid, well, the son could not and the daughter could. Okay, so this is not, this is just pedigree, tracking of traits. That's it. Okay, over here we have a male that could and a female that couldn't. Well, they had two sons that could and a daughter that could, and then had a daughter that couldn't and a son that couldn't. Over here we have two kids that could, right? They have two kids, one can, one can't. Okay, so it's just tracking and saying, okay, oh wow, and tongue rolling's a kind of silly trait, right? But when you look at it, it could be used for serious things, and it could say, oh well, all of us are whatever left-handed, and so are we purebred, or is there a chance that there's a carrier for the recessive trait? Okay, so rolling the tongue is the dominant. Rolling the tongue is dominant. Okay, so that means that you can tell from, if they can have a kid that cannot roll their tongue, that means that the person who could roll their tongue was a carrier of the recessive trait. And so by those two, because they got a little r from mom and a little r from dad, he cannot. He got a big R from dad and a little r from mom. Okay? Because if these two were both purebreds, then they would only be able to have dominant, where they could roll their tongues. Okay? So that's the main thing to understand there, is that a pedigree, that the word pedigree means we keep a family tree and we track a certain trait. Okay? Oh, well, we tracked eye color, or we tracked tongue rolling, or we tracked left versus right-handedness. And so then you're able to look back and you can kind of have a better makeup. And when we think about pedigrees, this is really what Gregor Mendel did with pea plants. Okay? He simply did a pedigree of the pea plants, and he said, okay, these two made this kid, okay, I'm tracking this trait over and over, okay? So one more time, pedigrees are a tracking of traits. Okay, now I want to get into sex-linked traits, okay? And sex-linked traits just mean that it is male and female. Basically, it is saying that within a certain chromosome, there is, that is the only way one of those, that trait is passed down, okay? So a female has 2 X chromosomes. So this is very important. So please listen up if you're not really paying attention. Female has 2 X chromosomes. A male has an X and a Y. Okay? So that means when a male and a female have a kid, right? They each pass 1 type of chromosome right down. So the female can pass either an X or an X, right? So the guy can pass an X or a Y. So the guy, whether he passes an X or Y, that is how it is a boy or a girl is decided. If the guy passes down the Y chromosome, then it's going to be a boy. If he passes an X, it's going to be a girl, okay? So here's the thing. The female, since it can only pass an X, and it's the recessive gene, that means that if it ends up being a girl, they won't show whatever the bad thing is. Because, so for example, guy and girl have a kid, it's a girl. She passes an X, he passes an X, is not a carrier, and does not show the bad trait, okay? They have another kid, it's a girl. She passes this X this time, okay? She could pass either X to the daughter or the boy. And since it's a girl, he passes his X. Well, now, since this X, this gene is dominant, okay? She carries the bad X chromosome, but she does not show it because she is just a carrier, and the positive, the good X, is dominant. When we go to boys, again, the female can pass either the defective one or the normal one. Well, she passes the normal one. Since it's a boy, that means he passed this Y. Okay? So he's all good because he has this X. The Y doesn't have, the Y is not carrier for the bad trait. Okay, this time has a boy. She passes she passes the defective one, and he passes the Y. Since there's only 1 X in guys, if they have the bad X they're gonna show it. For a girl to show it is very rare. It's very, very rare. And I'm honestly not 100% sure how it happens, but it can. So male pattern baldness is a sex-linked trait. Color blindness is a sex-linked trait, okay? So females, it won't show most of the time except for very rare occurrences. I'm going to give you a second word, and that's honestly it. So nice short video. Second word, the first one was spoon. Second one is fork, okay? And you know what? I'm going to throw in a third word. It's going to be knife. Spoon, fork, knife. Hey, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a great weekend. And don't forget Monday, 1 o'clock, LMS quiz. Thank you all